Hi everyone, happy Friday. Guess what today is? Mason's birthday, 12. So I'm joined by Mason today. But while we're waiting on folks to join, this is one of the things I have to do, Mames. Be sure to go to coopedup.com to, I was saying I have a low connection up there. Coopedup.com. Hey, you're live. People are watching.
Yeah.
Coopedup.com to see my content there. You can follow me on social channels. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in most places. Wherever you are listening or watching this, you can please click the bell to get notified of me coming live. And last but not least, if you ever want to text me or get text from me, send me a note, 214-949-8599.
Or 214.
No, stop. This is a service that I use. I'm going to be sending out updates about Amazon Prime Day in a couple of weeks. So, yay. So like I said, hey, happy birthday from Monica. Graham says, hi, Cooper and Mason. Grams, did you notice I added a photo to your frame today of Mason? Sam and Eric are also saying happy birthday, Mason. You're 12. 12.
Yeah.
So how was your day?
Good.
Expand on that. So you actually woke up earlier than the rest of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look at the light when you talk. So you woke up earlier than the rest of us. When I turned the alarm off, immediately I heard the door opening. You feeding the cats, letting the dogs out, all that kind of stuff, right? What were you excited about it being your birthday?
Yeah.
You can come sit in my lap, sort of. Yep. What Graham says she loves that picture of you. The one good. Yes, you looked really cute. And so that was the interesting thing about that photo is I took about 20 other photos, and that was kind of an outtake photo, and I just loved it so much. Happy birthday, Mason. Tawana is saying also. So what are our plans for your birthday?
We're going to Dave & Buster's like in 2 hours.
Like 2 hours, yeah. We're going to be there in 2 hours, so we have to leave probably in an hour and a half or so. Dave & Buster's.
Oh yeah. Where? Actually,
No.
Which Dave & Buster's are we going to?
We're going to the big one on Walnut Hill.
Walnut Hill.
Mm-hmm. The main one that we usually go to.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to Dave & Buster's for the evening. It'll be our first time back there since the pandemic. That's actually probably the busiest place that we've been since then. And then tomorrow you are getting a vaccine. You're getting your first shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Good.
Yeah. What are you excited about that?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
I mean, I can be half vaccinated.
Yeah. So Claire's getting her second shot. So it means in 2 weeks, Claire doesn't have to wear her mask anymore. She'll be fully vaccinated.
Even at school?
I don't. School's rules. I think y'all have 3 more weeks left of school. She'll probably have to wear a mask the last week of school. But so then you get your second shot the day after school left out on the 25th. So your shot is on the 26th, which means you will be fully vaccinated on July 10th. Sterling got his second. My nephew Sterling got his second shot today. Yay! Keep us posted on how he's feeling afterwards. Because Todd and I are leaving the kids home alone tomorrow to go to a fundraiser for our school tomorrow. Also, our first social event after that. So, what do you hope for now that you're 12?
Nothing.
Nothing? What do you mean nothing?
Oh, I can be.
So you're a year closer to driving?
I'm a year. No, I was still a year closer to driving than yesterday. Also.
Yesterday. It's just one more day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it matters. The number matters. So, does there anything feel different?
No. Same.
Do you feel different from like the beginning of the pandemic? Because how did it feel last year? We couldn't really do anything for your birthday last year.
Yeah, because it was like the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, it was right at the beginning. So how did that feel compared to like right now?
I like this year way better because I actually like get to see people.
You get to see people. Talk up. That's the microphone.
I get to see my friends.
Yeah. What are you hoping to get for your birthday? Because we have not opened presents yet. We let him open one this morning because he actually already knew what it was because he asked me to order it. And he remembered that it was being delivered by Amazon between 4 and 6 a.m. this morning. So that's actually what the door thing was for. You weren't feeding the cats. You were going to look for your present, right?
But I still put the cats.
I know, but that's why you were going out there.
Yeah.
And my mom is saying you're a tween now. Yep. So what are you hoping to get for your birthday? Silence.
Money. Robux.
Robux are cash that you use in a game.
Currency
that you use in a game called Roblox. And Roblox is a game where you like build worlds and you just kind of explore, right? It's like Sims. The best I can explain it for those of us who didn't have Roblox in our life, it is like Sims. Stop what? Roblox? Roblox?
Yes.
I'm embarrassing you.
No, go away.
And then in it you have Robux. You have Robux. That's what you want. So you want Robux. You also want just cash money. What are you going to use the cash money on?
Robux.
So you want us to buy you Robux, and then you also want to use real bucks to buy Robux. Okay. Anything else?
Oh, what does that button do?
That ends it. Don't push that one. Don't even tease it. Okay. Well, that's it. Are you done? Tell everyone thank you for wishing you a happy birthday. Oh my God. Tawana loves the hat. It is so stylish. So the story behind this hat,
I stole it,
is interesting. So Todd bought it for me for a gift. It's Ralph Lauren, so it's actually not cheap. For a gift a million years ago. I'm not a hat person. I don't know why he bought it for me, but it turns out it paid off. Mason discovered it in my closet, and he wears it constantly. It's wool though, so it's not a cool cap. Do you want a new cap maybe also? Would you like a whole cap wardrobe or just this one?
I'll have a cap wardrobe.
You would like a cap wardrobe? We should have thought of that already. You also wanted socks or something, right? Because your look at school is that you're mismatched, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you wanted socks too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All righty, we'll get out of here.
No, you get out of here.
No, you get out of here. This is my show. I'm about to cancel you.
It's mine today.
Okay, then fine. Then be more engaging.
Fine, I'll get out.
Okay.
Whatever.
All righty. Be careful when you open the door. It's unlocked, but don't knock the light over.
Why?
Because I said so.
But why?
It might cause a fire.
What's so bad about that?
I know. Come on, just go. All righty. Celebrating Mason. Bye-bye. Happy. So when I was dropping him off at school today, I had the windows down and I was playing Stevie Wonder. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And they're like, Dad, you're so embarrassing. You're so embarrassing. That's what I was told. Have I ever told you the story about how we ended up with Mason? So I'll tell you the abbreviated version of it. So we adopted Claire. She was our third attempt at adoption. So we had 2 failed adoptions before we got Claire. And Claire's adoption, and I have to tell this part of the story for you to understand the second one. Claire's adoption was very last minute. They just called us and they said, we have a baby for you. Come get one. Because I was like, let's kick it old school. Just tell me when you get a kid and let us know where. And we had to go out to California. So we jumped on a plane, went out to California to get Claire. And had to stay there for, I think, 13 days, 14 days, something like that, because there's a specific legal thing that has to happen between 2 states if you're taking a adoptive child who's not yet officially adopted across state lines, right? It's called an interstate compact. And so you had to stay where you are to do that, the sending state, before you go home. So we get home with Claire, and we are 3 months into it, because Claire and Mason are 3 months and 3 days apart. She was born March 1st. He's June 4th. And we are with Claire. We're driving out to the Arboretum. It was a Thursday night. We were driving out to the Arboretum to go to one of their concerts in the park, or the concerts at the Arboretum kind of thing. And our phones start lighting up. Cooper, Todd, this is the adoption agency we need to talk to immediately. And our hearts sank because Claire's adoption had not finalized yet. And typically things don't go wrong during that period, but they can. It takes 6 months. There's like a 6-month wait. And technically they're a foster child during that time, even with private adoptions. And so like our hearts sank and they're like, we need to talk to you. They blew up our phones. So called them back and they say, well, first of all, this is not about Claire. And I immediately said, well, first of all, you should have left that in the fucking voicemail. And they all laughed. I'm like, no, I'm not kidding. This is not funny. And they're like, well, we know that you were very open. We know you wanted multiple kids. We know you were open to all ethnicities, and that you also didn't need a lot of lead time, right? And we're like, yeah, keep talking. Well, we have a little boy who was born this morning who is being put up for adoption and want to know if you want him. He was born in the same hospital, delivered by the same doctor as Claire in Pomona Valley Hospital in Pomona, California, and which is near Rancho Cucamonga, Ontario. It's the San Bernardino. Is that the county name? I think that's what it's called. Anyway, Inland Empire area. And so we were like, okay, so we need to talk about it. And they're like, well, we need an answer within the next couple of hours. And we're like, well, holy moly. So we go to this concert with friends, and we're literally not even listening to the concert. We're straight up talking. And by the way, they're also like, and if you say yes, we need a name by tomorrow. It's like, oh, great. So now we got to think of a name too. So I looked at Todd and I was like, how much harder could it be? It's a lot harder having two of them at the same time. But that is, and then at night, so we told him yes. And then we had to think of a name. Mason is my old middle name. So I used to be Cooper Mason Smith, and now I'm Cooper Smith Koch. So I did what a lot of women do, where they kind of shift everything over and drop their birth middle name. And so we're like, well, that's a name that's just kind of hanging out. So did that. And the rest is history. So in his case, we actually did not fly out immediately because we already had Claire as a newborn. I mean, like a 3-month-old. And we weren't going to fly and stay in a hotel for 10 days like we did with her. A hotel for 10 days is not fun with a baby. And certainly not with two of them. So we ended up putting him what's called in cradle care, which is basically like, you know how people who foster pets, you take a pet and you're just keeping it until the home opens up or until they're old enough to be adopted out or whatever like that. Same kind of thing. There are people who do this. They do it for money. We had to pay them. But they do it for money to take care of kids who are in between phases of an adoption kind of thing. It's the stuff you learn. And so we put him into that for 10 days, which was just not horrible like to him or anything else. It's just knowing that your child is there, like is crazy, right? And so then we, Nina, Todd's sister, lived here at the time. She came to the house. Todd and I got on a like 5 o'clock flight, something like that, to like early enough where when we got there to get on the plane, like they were still open in TSA and stuff. Got on the plane to LAX. No, we flew into Orange County. Rented a car, drove a couple of hours, I think, to the adoption agency. I think we stopped at a Starbucks. I think that's the only place we stopped. Got to the agency, signed a ton of paperwork, wrote a big ass check, got Mason, put him in the car, drove to LAX and got on a plane. And we were back that evening, late that evening, all in the same day. So that's the story of how Mason Koch came to be a part of our family. There are other elements that I'm leaving out of the story, but that's the gist of it. So yeah, and I can't believe that call came 12 years ago today, because it was the day he was born that we got the call. Crazy, right? Sandy is saying embarrassing teens and tweens is the best form of punishment. It is getting easier and easier too. They used to, it used to be that no matter what I did, they played along. Mason still mostly plays along. Claire gets really embarrassed by me, but Mason used to play along. He still does a lot of the times. Claire just does not. But we're getting to that. Stuart's saying, I've never understood why adoptions require a big ass check. Well, I'll tell you, the check does not go to the mother. The check goes to the attorneys. The check goes to legal paperwork. The check goes to a lot of the agency itself, a lot of different people. It does not go to the mother. The mother sometimes can get expenses reimbursed, like the maternity clothes and stuff like that. But it's it's not a transaction. Let's put it that way. It's all the stuff around it that's so expensive. And that's actually why I am on the national board of an organization called helpusadopt.org. And that group, and I've talked about this before, it gives life-changing grants to families because it's like $45,000 to adopt a kid, right? And that's if everything goes perfectly. And so that's why it's so important that they get these gifts, because I mean, who could come up with, I mean, I can't now, but at the time, I don't even know if I could just come up with a lump sum of $45,000 without a ton of planning and moving stuff around. And that just doesn't make you a better parent just because you can afford $45,000 one time, right? Because, you know, my parents, they were 20 when they had me. I guarantee you they did not have $45,000 or the equivalent of $45,000 in the bank at the time. They might not even right now. I don't know. So I'm just joking on that, Mom and Dad, if you're watching. Because my dad sometimes watches too. And it shouldn't be so complicated for kids getting homes. Yeah, I mean, I understand both sides of it because you have to make sure that it has to be complicated enough where everybody is protected, where the mom, because like our first two adoptions, the moms kept the babies. And as painful as that was, it was horrible. I am fully in support of that because I would never want, like, that's like Chinese system to where you can relinquish your rights before the baby is born and all of that, right? So I don't think that's it. So Michelle's saying, so isn't 12 years old the onset of puberty? Oh, Lottie, yep. And I got it times 2, both genders. Oh, we're going. I can't talk too much about that. I've promised not to talk too much about that. So what else was I going to talk about today? Well, that's build versus buy. That's honestly why a lot of people do the surrogacy, because I'm not personally a fan of surrogacy. I'm not against it. I just don't see a reason to, well, first of all, genetically, my eyes are the best part of me, probably. That's the only thing. The hair is not natural anymore. You want these crooked fingers? My mom's got them too. So I'm not passing down anything, maybe some height. So it's no great treasure. We're not a family name. Smith is my maiden name. So it's no great treasure either. And I just didn't feel a reason to create something new when there were already kids who needed homes. So that was the thing for me. And if you choose that, to each their own, that there's no judgment in that for me at all. But that is just that I think I would have rather gone through the trouble of it and know that it was done the way we did it than the other. So that's hard to talk about without sounding like you're saying, well, this is better than that. Or I'm not virtue signaling. I'm not saying anything is better than anything else. So if you think I'm saying that, you're wrong. It is Pride weekend in Dallas. It looks very different this year. There's no parade. Even though now that the mask mandates are dropped, it just takes too long to produce the parades. I mean, they basically finish one and start the next one. So we'll have one next year, but this year there's no parade, but they are doing a series of 2 shows. They're doing one tonight and they're doing one tomorrow night, both of them down at Fair Park in the Coliseum. It was going to be in the band shell, but because of rain chances, they moved it to the Coliseum. And that's a ticketed event. It's actually sold out both nights. But if you want to watch it live, there is a DallasPrideStream.org. DallasPrideStream.org. It's a free live stream. A lot of drag queens, performers, all that kind of stuff. It should be a good time. My friend Matt Campbell, whose alter ego is Marsha Dimes, he's going to be hosting it. It's going to be a good time for everybody. So if you want to check out the fun, DallasPrideStream.org is the website. I also saw today that there's some people who legitimately think our former president is going to be reinstated, that they think he is rightfully the president still, and that with all these vote recounts Arizona's doing one. It looks like Pennsylvania may be doing another one, like freaking 8 months later. Why can't they not broadcast? I just need to unplug that thing before I come in here. But some people think that Trump is going to be reinstated. What would happen if that's the case? Like legislation that has passed, it would stay in place, obviously. unless I think only. I mean, that's not going to happen. I just can't even imagine that anyone would allow that to happen. Like the chaos, even if it was proven correct, I can't imagine. Can you? Chaos, sheer chaos. I forgot to bring my scarf in. So I was going to show you all the scarf that I was going to wear tomorrow. I'll show it to you on Monday. Yeah, Stuart said, the Constitution would catch on fire. I know. And Michelle would move to Canada. I'm not sure they're much better these days. They're kind of all kinds of crazy. But man. And then Mike Pence today said, and this is not politics, it's just I'm talking about things that are political. And Sam is saying that legally cannot happen. That's good to know. I just kind of thinking like shits and giggles or shits and like running with the house on fire. To think about those things is kind of interesting. But Mike Pence gave a speech, I think it was this morning, that where he talked about that he has talked to President Trump numerous times since leaving office and all that stuff, and that they just do not see eye to eye on what happened with the January 6th, the insurrection. They do not see eye to eye. And Pence is like, no, there's nothing I could have legally done. Yes, you did this, all that kind of stuff. And he's now speaking up publicly about it. And people are freaking out because they're like, okay, well, there goes your chances in 2024, which I don't think were very strong anyway. But some people are like, oh, you're going to get Liz Cheney'd. I think that isn't that crazy? Like literally every former president of the Republican Party, every former presidential candidate, every former vice presidential candidate, I believe, has like said this is a shit show, right? And now you got even the former vice president under that president saying it's a shit show. And people are like, well, we're just going to cancel you. And then they're complaining that people are getting canceled. Like, that's what I don't get either. Cancel culture. It's just responsibility, I guess. Okay, that's the political portion today. Y'all are kind of quiet in the comments. The only other thing I have on my list today is that, you know how everything comes back around? The 80s were real big again, and the 90s are real big again right now. Or we're kind of seeing that come back again in air travel. So United, oh my God, stop it. Stop it. Mason, tell him to stop using the Google Home while I'm on my live show. So United Airlines is under contract to buy, I've got notes here, 15 supersonic jets. So think Concorde. They are buying a kind of like a version of the Concorde, which the Concorde stopped flying in 2003. Remember that one of them blew up and then everything kind of went to hell with that. But by 2029, so in 8 years, that'll go by in a flash, right? Mason will be 20. They think that they are going to be flying supersonic air travel again. It looks like the bases are going to be Newark, and you can go from Newark to London in 3.5 hours, and Newark to Frankfurt in 4 hours, and you'll be able to go from San Francisco to Tokyo in 6 hours. I literally have no idea how long those flights take normally. I know they're long, but that's crazy. And actually, I know people. I don't know why you would want to fly that, though. I think it's just an ego thing, because unless it's a lot more comfortable than the Concorde, I know people who've flown on the Concorde, and they were like, it was not fun. It was uncomfortable. It was tight. It was leaky. Literally the coolest. The only thing about it that people loved was that it was the Concorde, which was the kind of epitome of travel, just one up in things. But it was not first class. I mean, it was first class. I mean, I think they had champagne and caviar and all that kind of stuff, but it was not luxurious. And then the savings of time. So I guess for business travelers, I mean, there were some people that maybe flew back and forth like New York to London, and it saves time. So Tawana saying Happy National Donut Day. Picked up a donut at Salty's today. Yeah, I actually bought donuts today. I didn't even realize that it was donut day, but I bought donuts today because the kids are having 2 friends sleep over tonight after Dave and Buster's are going to come sleep over tonight. And Claire always begs for donuts in the morning. And the last thing I ever want to do is leave the house to go get donuts in the morning because the really close place here, it shut down during the pandemic and they're not opening back up. Lone Star Donuts, they were the best. Oh, so good. They kept the factory open, and it was the retail section in front of the factory that they closed down, just right around the corner. I've not been to Salty's today. I have a T-shirt that says Salty on the front of it. Every time I wear it, people are like, "Oh, are you with the donut place?" And I'm like, "No, I just have a potty mouth." They always like, "What?" Stuart is saying, Junior and I will be doing selfies from the United Supersonic Whisper Jet. Yeah, I do. I know that. I had you in mind. Well, and I guess you can. Do you fly United mostly? Is that where you would have points? Because I assume that a lot of people will be using points for that flight. Alrighty, that's all I got for the day. Let me just look real quick in the comments. If you have anything that you want me to address, you have about 15 seconds because there's a 20-second delay between the time the words come out of my mouth and you hear them. Type it in the comments if you have anything that you want to ask me or anything like that. Y'all are American Airlines, so are we, Stuart. But okay. Well, that is it for the day. Y'all have a great weekend. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watch this show. I am still drinking tea. But I will be switching to some cocktails at Dave & Buster's tonight. That's going to be expensive. Dave & Buster's is always expensive. But I keep the cards in my glove compartment so that I never am without them. Not that I'm never without them because I can't live without them, but just so I don't lose them. Alrighty. Well, I will see you later. I'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. I love y'all. Cooped Up Live, should I say. We'll be back on Monday at 4:30. Bye.